It is currently 3:47 a.m. and today I cannot sleep. I can't sleep today for a multitude of reasons. One of the reasons being is that I'm having a few drinks. I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a few Mike's Hard Lemonades. Yeah, I'm a little bit of a bitch. But another reason I cannot sleep tonight is because of the movie that I just watched called Obsession. Obsession is a horror movie, I think, and it just dropped in the movie theaters. And the reason I'm saying I think is because the genre doesn't really fit the normal narrative. The movie does not fit the plot of a normal horror movie. However, it is terrifying. It is the scariest movie I have ever seen in my life. I am a bitch when it comes to horror movies. Me, myself, and I, we don't watch horror movies. We don't watch them at all. We don't like them. We tinkle in our bridges. And today's story is about how I shit my pants in the movie theater watching the scariest movie I have ever seen. So the day started as any other normal day. I woke up and started jerking off. I jerked off for about 3 hours. Then I started playing video games. I played for about 4 hours. Then I jerked off again for another 3. And then I got ready to go to the movie theater with my lady. Now, me and my lady were going to watch this movie a week prior to this. We were going to watch it on the day it came out, as far as I remember. However, we couldn't get to it because we were too late, and they gave us free movie tickets, and they said we could come back at any point for the next year, I think. There's an expiration date on the tickets. So we used our tickets to watch the Obsession movie just about a week later. Now, when I came to the movie theater, my luck suddenly dropped. First of all, my card declined at the cash register, which made me look like a broke-ass bitch. Secondly, after I got that figured out and transferred some money and I paid, I still didn't transfer enough money, so I still looked like even a bigger bitch. However, after getting some snacks and after getting situated in my movie seat, I knew it was going to be even a worse of a day because right when I sat down and got comfortable, I needed to take a piss. Y'all, this usually does not happen to someone like me. Someone like me comes to the movies, sits down, watches the movie, and leaves. Having two bad things happen to me back to back was how I knew this movie was going to be bad. However, I thought it was going to be a bad performance. The performance was great, all the actors did amazing, and it was a great movie all in all. I loved it. I love the detail. And before I get too far into it, I do want to warn you guys there is going to be some spoilers coming in hot, coming in with boners, coming in with stoners, coming in with spoilers. I have quite a bit of spoilers. Reason being, I really want to get into the detail. I want you guys to imagine, if you've seen the movie already, I want you guys to imagine which scene specifically. I defecated into my bridges. I put some feces into my soil. I jode my Rogan, however you want to put it. So the movie plot starts pretty normal. There's a big group of friends, and one guy is in love with one girl. His friend is trying to talk him out of hitting on her because he thinks she's not ready. And he's right. She's not ready. She rejects him. She tells him to fuck off, tells him to go piss his pants, just like I did. And the moment she says that, the main character got her a gift that he hasn't given her yet, which was a wish, wish in a box or whatever it is. It's a stick that you make a wish and then you break, and it supposedly comes true. And he made a wish that he wanted her to be obsessed with him, which is where the movie comes from. Now, the moment he makes this wish, the moment he wants this wish to come true, it does. He looks to his right and sees her staring at him. And at first, they're all lovey-dovey. They're all happy. They're in love. It's exactly what he wanted, exactly what he wished for. And after a while, he realized that she's weirdly obsessed with him. He wakes up in the middle of the night. This was a scene where I, let out a little bit of urine, let out a little bit of that yellow juice, that yellow Kool-Aid, that yellow Gatorade. Scene genuinely made me piss my pants a little bit. I know I went earlier, but I did get a large drink, so that did, play into the game. However, this was a terrible performance on my behalf. I pissed my pants, and then a little bit later, I shit myself. However, when I pissed my pants, this is exactly how it happened. I'm sitting, I'm looking at the screen, I'm focused on the screen. I don't realize I need to piss. I didn't think I needed to piss at the moment. I feel like I would have known, my brain would have told me, hey, dude, you need to go empty that bladder. But I'm looking at the screen, I'm watching it, and the scene where he wakes up in the middle of the night, the room is dark. You see only you don't see some of the corners in the room because of the moonlight. It's only shining in on some parts, and he can't see his girlfriend, which is not normal because she's so obsessed with him that she won't leave his side. Once again, he calls out her name, and this is what he hears in a response. Go back to sleep. If you couldn't understand what happened, she was essentially watching him sleep in the dark. Then she came out of the light. She was walking all weird. It was one of the most terrifying scenes. Now, something this movie does extremely well, which others movies don't, is it plays in a lot of audio. The movie is extremely loud. I like it, but I hate it for the same reason. I like it because of how loud it is, and when it's a quiet scene and then there's a super loud part, it terrifies me. It scares me. It makes me get out of my seat a little bit. So yes, the effect of the scare is there. However, it kind of starts making you mad towards the end of the movie when you realize that that's a lot of the movie. A lot of the scary scenes is just essentially jump scares that are extremely loud. I feel like that's something that people don't talk about, and it bothered me. It bothered me so much that me and my girlfriend talked about it, and she agreed with me. She said, "Yeah, this movie is extremely loud. I don't know how I like. We loved the movie itself, but we didn't know how to feel about that part in particular." So she tells him to go back to sleep. After a fuss back and forth, she starts screaming, tells him to go back to sleep. It's a scary scene. He lays down and closes his eyes, and for a millisecond, once they're closed, the movie theater just erupts and it gets extremely loud. The speakers, I'm just so surprised they didn't blow the fuck up with how loud it was. She just starts screaming on the top of her lungs for some reason. Terrifying scene. And in that moment in particular, I felt very cold, and then I felt warm in my pants. I urinated. I let out a little bit of that yellow Kool-Aid, the yellow Gatorade, the lemonade, whatever you want to refer to it as. It was terrible. It was disgusting. But at the same time, I'm glad I felt a little warm for at least a second. It felt like a hug. If someone hugged just the inside of my thighs, or something like that, which is a little bit, it's a little weird talking about it, but it does feel better than it sounds. So yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. However, let's keep moving with the movie. At this point in the movie, I've already pissed my pants. I'm already warm. I'm sitting there a little wet. The breeze is hitting me, a little bit, so I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the coldness from the piss getting cold, getting cool, getting room temperature. Because I'm telling you guys, when I piss, dude, you can genuinely start a sauna with that shit. I piss some warm ass piss. I piss some steamy hot piss, dude. I'll tell you guys that much. If you're taking a shower and I'm giving you a golden shower without you knowing, you'll think you're just showering in warm water. So I'm sitting there. It's been a while at this point. The movie is getting closer to the end. It's not anywhere at the end, but it's getting there. And it's the scene where the main character is sitting talking to a girl that he really likes, the girl with the septum piercing. She's one of the main characters as well. I don't know any of their names, by the way. I was too terrified to memorize it, so my apologies on that. But they're talking in the car, and essentially, she tells him she likes him, and he deserves someone more chill. And while they're talking, you see a silhouette of a person running from behind, and breaks the window of the front, like the driver's seat, which is where the girl is sitting, and starts bashing a brick in her head. So yeah, that doesn't sound as scary. However, everything that I just said happened in about 3 to 5 milliseconds. I'm telling you right now, it was the most terrified I've ever been. The loud noise, the commotion, everything happening, and very, very gruesome. It's very gruesome. At that point, I let out a little bit more of that yellow Kool-Aid, a little bit more of that rain, a little bit more of whatever you want to call it. I don't want to get deep into it. It was very gross. At this point, my pants were getting cold, warm, cold, warm. I was starting to get a little bit of a high blood pressure because of that. The constant temperature drops in your body. Just my body wasn't liking it. I had pretty high cortisol at that point from the movie, and having my bridges painted yellow for the night. Now, at this point in the movie, I'm sitting in my seat. The seat is wet, my ass is wet, my penis is wet, and not in a great way. I'll tell you guys that much. And I'm sitting there pondering, when is this movie going to be over so I can go change my pants? However, the Battle of D-Day was not over. It was just starting. Unfortunately, our boats just pulled up to the shore. Now, at this point in the movie, the main character finds a phone number on the little box, the little wish that he makes, to call him if they have any trouble. And he calls the phone number, and essentially the guy on the phone asks him if he would like to reverse the wish. And for a little, he hesitates. Eventually, he says yes. However, that guy says he can't actually do that. He was just guessing it. He was just guessing what, he was going to ask for. And the only way for the wish to decimate, to be gone, for the curse to be lifted, is for the person who made the wish to die. So essentially, the main character, the guy, has to kill himself or has to die for the girl who's obsessed with him to not be obsessed with him anymore. Now, another thing I forgot to mention is the girl that is the true girl that doesn't really like him that much is still on the inside, and essentially her personalities were split. So the girl who is obsessed with him is completely in control, and the girl who doesn't really like him that much is still in there. And occasionally through the movie, from the beginning to the end, we see scenes where she's all over him. She's loving him, and then for a second she just like steps back and goes, "What the fuck am I doing?" Like she realizes like she's in the wrong body. Another thing that I've noticed is during the sex scenes, she seemed very unpleasured. She was just had a straight face, so I think it gave me a little bit of like a demonic feeling. She felt possessed almost. After realizing that, for the rest of the movie, it was back and forth. She was doing crazy stuff. There was a few scenes where she would hit herself with something because she would like phase back into herself for a second, and while she was being herself, she would break the bottle and like bash her face with the glass to try to kill herself. It never worked. I mean, it gave her stitches and scars, but it never really worked. It was a very, very depressing like movie. Honestly, overall, very good movie. Just very, very sad. And the part that you guys have all been waiting for, where I really shit my pants. I let out some doo doo in my DDs. I let out some poo poo in my papas. So essentially, let's break this down. We're watching the movie. The movie's getting to the end. Me and my girlfriend are snuggling. We're having fun. We're just kissing. We're watching the movie. It's a great time. We're enjoying ourselves. And suddenly, silence. The movie catches on to another very important scene. The main character comes back to the store to buy another one of those sticks and to make a wish, which is when he finds out that he can only make one wish as a person. So he goes to his best friend or his friend, his work friend, his co-worker, his acquaintance, however you want to put it. He comes up to him and says essentially, "Hey, is there a chance you can please make a wish? It works," etc. He like explains the whole situation with their other co-worker, his girlfriend, to him, and he doesn't believe it, so he just goes, "I wish for $1 billion," and breaks it, and money starts pouring out the ceiling or something. I don't really know where it came from. They never really showed, but he it actually works essentially. And then he goes back to his house. He says whatever to his best friend. He just goes back home, and when he gets home, he sees his ex-girlfriend sitting on a chair. She is stripped naked. Her face is fully destroyed from the brick, and then he sees his girlfriend, or actually he doesn't see her yet, but the viewers see her, and she's walking behind him all animated like a robot. Very, very weird, very creepy. And she walks up to him, she starts talking to him, and for a little while he's hesitant, he doesn't know what to do. And then she starts screaming and yelling, and guy comes in, his friend, and she just turns around and shoots him straight in the face. He dies on the spot. So most of his friend group died. Everyone, she killed all of them. So he goes to the bathroom and he sits down and he wants to shoot himself, commit suicide, go out the easy way, how some would say. But he decides that he's an alpha, he's a sigma, so he grabs the pills and starts taking down pills to overdose himself, essentially. During that scene, I was petrified, I was scared, but I wasn't defecating yet. Poop was coming out, but it wasn't out yet. And that scene was extremely stressful. Everything was extremely loud. She was screaming and banging on the door while he was in the bathroom. And then essentially she went to the living room and found one of those wish boxes and took a wish that he was obsessed with her just as much as she's obsessed with him, as far as I could tell, because after taking the pills, he smiles and walks out to the living room. And at that point, I didn't realize it yet. And as he walks up to her, they start kissing, and then they sit down and start talking, and he overdoses and dies. At that moment in particular, when I realized what has happened, I shit my pants. I had poop all over the seat. I think I got some on my girlfriend's seat, and I think I got some on the old ladies next to my left seat. It was a volcanic eruption. Krakatoa has nothing on me. I had the loudest rip and the biggest spread you have ever seen. You can call me a PB&J sandwich the way I spread this butter. It was absolutely insane. Honestly, it was very embarrassing for me. I ended up walking out of the movie theater waddling like a penguin. I went to the bathroom first, cleaned up a little bit, spread some shit on the walls, because who doesn't do that nowadays? If you don't do that, you're consider yourself old, you dumbass millennial. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me telling you guys how I unfortunately shit my pants watching one of the best movies I've seen this year in the movie theaters. And if you're new here, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. Share this video with friends and family. It gives me boners, so I appreciate it. And as always, have a good day. Peace.